Hey, we're back. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties.
We broke the internet.
We broke the internet.
Okay. So we have, okay, where comments will appear there. So let's just talk about, Cory, what is your worst nightmare?
Having no comments.
Having no comments.
Live Q&A.
Brittany Bauer says, welcome back. Thank you very much.
Babies. ILY. We
WLY. Right.
Yeah, WLY.
Robin, is there any detail you can reveal about the upcoming season 3? Please hug Sean and Cory for me once. Oh, yes. Hugs. Okay. For season 3, what could I say? Well, you can expect a lot more fun stuff between me and this guy. That's all I can say right now. Okay. Love me. We do. Hey guys, love the show. Thank you very much. Thought you'd left. No, we didn't leave here.
No, we
just had technical difficulties.
OMG, it's live.
It's live. This is happening
coming
right
at
now.
you.
What happens if...
Don't do that. Oh.
It's about the same.
No, that's worse.
Okay. Let's see.
Did we see Bruce's twin?
Well, the doppelganger, did we or did we not? It was played by David Mazouz, if we did.
Yeah. There is a doppelganger of Bruce with long hair.
That's right.
That Hugo Strange cooked up.
Yeah.
Fave action scene to film so far.
Ooh.
Right. Sean?
Here's the action
I've
hero.
had a few. I mean, of course, fighting Mr. Cupcake, which is at 380 pounds, 5 foot, 6'7" gentleman. But also, the first time was actually when you saw Alfred, what he was actually capable of doing when we had a home invasion. And I took a guy out, and I beat someone up with a walking stick, and I took a bullet and shot another guy. So that was fun.
Cory, favorite action scene?
My favorite action scene. Why? I'm not really.
He does it with his mind.
Yes, I don't really. I'm not exactly a physical actor. But my favorite was being out in the snow and wielding a gun at gym. That was awesome.
Mine was scrapping with Fish Mooney.
Yeah.
If you had told me that I would be doing a fight scene with Jada Pinkett Smith a couple years ago, I would have told you, stop smoking crack. Okay, so let's see. We have time to see the sights in London. Sure.
I've shown them a few.
Yes, we saw some things.
Yes.
When's Bruce turned to Batman? When does Bruce turn to Batman?
When he turns to Batman when he's about 19. He goes off to see, I think it's Rari Gould. He goes to Tibet and he leaves the entire estate to Alfred, and then when he comes back, he dons the cowl and becomes Batman. I think that's the end of our series.
Alfred, will you be throwing parties at the estate?
Of course, I will be throwing you all invited, everyone.
Right.
Robin, how cool was it for you and Butch to kill Galavan? It was pretty cool. But it was funny because they were going through the stunt, and it was the bazooka rocket launcher, and then shooting well, obviously it wasn't James Frayne. It was a nice mannequin that they built, but they were telling us all about how far the explosion is going to go. And I looked at Drew Powell, who plays Butch, and I said, we're gonna die tonight. It was pretty funny, actually. Okay, what was the hardest scene for any of you to play? For me, it was the death of Gertrude, my mom in the show, and also the death of Elijah, played by Paul Rubens, my father in the show. Just killing parents left and right.
Mine was slapping the beautiful Cameron, who plays Selena Kyle. Very tricky scene to do, but very brave of the writers. And there was a point to it. Gotham is a dangerous place, and I think that for the first time you saw her be a little girl, which is what she is, and she bubbled up and nearly cried. So although Alfred was wrong, I don't condone hitting children, and he actually taught her a lesson.
What was the hardest one for me? Maybe killing Kristen Kringle. It was a long scene. It changed very quickly, and it was really sad. I liked Chelsea's back a lot. I mean, I still like her. Chelsea's actually still alive.
She's not really dead.
I adore her.
She's adorable.
Okay.
Are we going to do crossover with CW?
CW.
Probably not, because Gotham is in a different sort of timescape, and it's in Gotham time. Although it'd be very interesting. I mean, there's elements of Flash that could possibly happen. That could happen, but in the foreseeable future, probably not.
Okay.
What made you become actors? Sean, was your father an influence?
Well, yeah, I suppose if my father was a butcher, I'd probably been a butcher. But yes, it was an influence because it's something that I was always around and always sort of knew about, whether you're good or bad at it. But it was only later on that, when I was about 16 or 17, that I actually was serious about becoming one.
What was it?
What made you want to become an actor?
What made me want to become an actor? I would say growing up where I grew up, not being in the Midwest and not being a sporty person at all. It was really my way of expressing myself. I spent a lot of time trying to hide myself, and once I went on stage, it was the first time. It's ironic because I was playing, we play other characters, but it was the first time I actually felt like myself and I felt accepted. So yeah. Cory?
I like people
I like
to
dressing up,
applaud
I like
for me.
dressing up.
I like wearing costumes. No, I actually wanted to be a concert pianist in college, and I went and I visited schools to see what programs I wanted to be at, and I just realized quickly that though I have much respect for that craft, that it was not the thing for me, because thinking about being alone for 8 to 10 hours a day in a room with a piano started to make me really nervous, and so I was like, okay, that's probably not the career for me. So I wanted to do something more collaborative and still artistic. So I went into acting, which is something I had done for a long time, but had never seen as a career.
It already passed, but I like the question. What was your favorite role you've ever played? Yeah. Mine would be it's going to sound really artsy-fartsy, but when I was in acting school, I played Treplev from The Seagull by Chekhov, and that was by far my favorite role.
Oh.
Mine was Macbeth, only because I had 10 days to learn it and 10 days to actually film it, so I just really felt like I'd achieved something by the end of it, and I only really understood it by the time I finished. But that was possibly my most favourite experience, albeit terrifying, and it's available on DVD. $4.99.
Yeah, perfect.
Get on Amazon in a separate window. Don't close this window. My heart still hurts from playing Kevin Coulson in All of Kittredge.
Oh, yeah, amazing. It's just for real.
Well, don't stop. I wasn't ready for that to end. No, that was just one of. I just love. There are just certain characters that I feel like are like friends, or like I know them, and I still hold on to him, and I get very emotional thinking about him and his life and his experiences, and it's just it was just really brutal and to do, and so it just sticks with me. It's one of those.
Oh, we're back.
We're back. Yes, there was a question that said, there was a question that said, do you do
Really?
like food?
Do you like food?
Yes, we like food.
I love food. And the thing is that there's actors, renowned sort of lunatics, but the weird thing is that they're disciplined lunatics. And I've worked in kitchens. I used to work in kitchens to get myself through drama school. And
there we are.
So I have the same respect for actors and people who work in kitchens. So food is a huge part of my life. And I love cooking, and I love food very much indeed.
Yeah, Sean has taken me to. I was here a couple weeks ago and stayed with Sean, and he took me to some really cool restaurants here in London. I love food. I like to cook, but there's just something amazing about going out and having a brilliantly curated meal by an amazing chef.
Food sucks. I hate food. All right. Okay.
We're so skinny. Oh my god.
Okay, great series so far. Keep it up. Lag, frowny, cry face. Have you used any? Okay.
Have you used people for inspiration for your character?
Have I used people for inspiration? Yes, I would say. I mean, I think of I think of Napoleon. I think of Richard III. Those are the first two that come to mind as an influence.
Yeah, I think of people who've suffered from post-traumatic stress, have been in the military, that have suffered sort of mental scars. So that was one of my influences with Alfred.
I went to high school with someone who I won't name, but initially he was my influence for Edward. As Edward has become more maniacal and evil, it's not really as pertinent a comparison because, well, I mean, I don't, maybe he's crazy and killing people at this point. I haven't talked to him in years, but he was just he was a bit of a loner. He was kind of socially inept. And when I was in high school, we weren't allowed to carry around backpacks. So because of school safety, it was just when kind of school shootings had started and whatnot. So we weren't allowed to have backpacks. So we would come into school with backpacks, put them in our lockers, and then carry our books around to classes. But he didn't like going to his locker between classes because he never wanted to be late to class. So he carried all of his textbooks around all day. So it was like, you know, just like carrying 5 textbooks around, and he like walked on his toes and like always leaning forward, didn't really talk to people. It was just like he was kind of what I built my physicality around.
It scrolled by, but what actors are your favorite? What actors are you influenced by?
Oh gosh, the list is
Yeah.
like endless. I mean, some of my favourite actors are people like Peter Sellers, Sean Penn. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, there's so many. Christopher Walken. I love character actors. Alec Guinness is possibly my most favourite actor of all time.
I'm inspired by Christian Bale. I think that his ability to inhabit a role is incredible. I think his performance in The Fighter was like,
Yeah, extraordinary.
I was hypnotized by that. And one of my favorite movies growing up was What About Bob?
Yes.
Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss, their performances together are, to this day, it's just one of my favorite collaborations between actors, and I learned so much about comedy from that movie, from them.
I would say, well, again, there's too many to mention, but for some reason what's coming to mind right now, well, first of all, Philip Seymour Hoffman, by far, huge influence on me, and then also, weirdly, Madeline Kahn, genius, everything she does, absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
I'm
not
tired.
Flames on the side of my face. Yeah, anyway. No, it's a
Someone-
Clue reference for those of you who are under 30.
I thought it was kind of funny or interesting. Someone said that scrolled by, what was your biggest rebellion in your teenage years?
Oh my goodness, my biggest rebellion. I was such a nerd. My rebellion would probably be, I don't know.
It's a tough question.
Well,
Yeah,
We were
like
so well behaved.
I got expelled
sneaking
from-
nips
I got
off of
expelled from-
my dad's wild turkey. You know, like that was probably it.
I got expelled from every school I ever went to, so it was a sort of a long period of rebellion.
Oh yeah, wow, very nice.
So there you go.
But your son is a good student.
He's a really good student. Don't tell my son.
That's good. What was my biggest rebellion?
Oh, what's the best advice you can give to someone who would like to be an actor, Cory?
Oh,
That's a good one.
that's a better question. My advice would be good luck. No, I'm just kidding. Look, there are so many different ways. I personally took a more traditional way of going to university for 4 years, and my school did I did an internship at a casting office my senior year, and then I did a showcase in New York for a bunch of agents and casting directors, and I acquired an agent through that, and so that was my path. I think, if you're a young person and you're not in a city like LA or New York or London where you can kind of participate in the industry, then university is probably a really great option. I think it's important to study acting. I think it is a craft that takes time and takes energy and devotion and consistency. However, if you're sexy, go to LA, because apparently that works for some people. Or some people fly through modeling or through music. But if you want to be a solid actor, get in class, train, start in theater. I'm so happy I went from theater to TV and film. But it's still, you have to be diligent, you have to chase it, you have to really want it. And you need to be in a city, it's helpful to be in a city where you have a lot of opportunities. That's what I think.
And get used to rejection. It happens every day of the week. I mean, most people in their lives, get fired from jobs probably 4 or 5 times, or change their career 4 or 5 times in their lives. This could happen as an actor, can happen sort of 6 days in a week, 6 times in a week. So get used to rejection, treat every audition as a mini film. And you've got to be thick-skinned, but just carry on going. But treat every audition, get off the book, treat every audition like a mini film, like a mini performance, and you will learn.
That's great advice.
That's what Sean said. Yeah. And we're back.
Sorry, we're back. We're back, and we're gonna take like one more question, and then we gotta run.
Oh, I know Robin and Cory's donation places.
What?
What is Sean's? What is your charity of choice?
Oh, I do a lot of work with the Alzheimer's Association. And in New York, it's actually branched off and become another organization called Caring Kind. That is the New York-centered place for Alzheimer's. My grandmother has been fighting Alzheimer's for about 8 years, and I find it to be a really devastating disease because she's otherwise physically healthy, and you are watching someone's mind deteriorate. It's we still have no idea why it happens, and I'm very interested, and the numbers are increasing drastically. There are millions of people. It's the 5th leading cause of death, and I'm just really passionate about finding a way to preserve people's minds later into life, and I think, yeah, that's what I believe. That's what I spend time working toward.
The donation of my choosing is God's Love We Deliver. They deliver meals to people who are physically infirm or economically in a bad way, and it's a really, really beautiful organization and does amazing stuff, and you can actually see the changes that it makes in people's lives. So that would be me, God's Love We Deliver. And Sean, finally.
Peace One Day, which is the Day of Peace, which was sanctioned by the UN, which is the 21st of September. It's run by the genius Jeremy Gilley. They go into war-torn areas and they inoculate children, and they stopped something like 80% of violence on that day. It was a UN-sanctioned day of peace, and it's now a global sort of movement. So I support Peace One Day.
Well, I think that's a wonderful place to leave off.
Leave off. We love you all.
We love you.
love
Thank you
you
for
all.
joining us.
Thank you.
We're talking at you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you're in the UK, enjoy the finale, which comes up this coming Monday. Yeah. And then we'll be back for season 3, folks.
Yeah.
Great.
Cheers.
Mwah.